I'm here on a warm autumn day in rural Serbia, actually only about 30 to 40 kilometers south of Belgrade, but already very rural. You don't have to go far outside the city centre to get into the rural areas of Serbia. Very quiet, very beautiful, but more than that, some interesting geomorphological features that we're going to have a look at now. So I'm now standing between two houses. Now, that might not be interesting in itself, but as you can see, there's some stairs over here. And if I point the camera in this direction, there's another house over there. So I'm in between two houses. That in itself not very interesting, but what is interesting is what's dividing the two. So let's have a look here. So what we've got is a type of depression or a dip in the landscape. We've got a bank going to this side and a bank going to this side. So what does this shape remind you of? Possibly a river, a tributary or a river. Could be man-made, but there's some evidence here that says this is a tributary, this was a tributary, or this was a river, a paleo or fossil river. So we're going to have a investigate that now. Before we do that, let's have a look at this, which I think is really cool and interesting. You've got a line of little trees here. Little trees that obviously been planted. So the people here are very, very aware of erosion. There are also some trees here already. And these trees here will hopefully grow. Their roots will go down and they will hold the soil. Now, if we're looking at a old river tributary here, we might want to see some soil, some compacted fine soil, to show there's been a slow moving river at some point here, eroding, transporting and depositing sediments lower down. I know I'm already lower down because Google Maps has already told me the hills are up there. So my guess therefore is if this was a river, we've also got some good evidence already, it's in that direction. So as we move in this direction, let me pan the camera down behind me on one side of the house. What's that? That's an old well. That obviously means that there was a fresh water source here at some point close to this river. So let's go in the direction I think the river might have flown. And we might expect to see meanders or other landforms, river landforms. But here, we've got a road. So let's cross the road and see what we might expect the river to do. Well, look, it's heading down. So the shape of the landscape is heading downwards to where the river might end up. We'll have a look at that. That's a beautiful depression in the landscape, which suggests that this river and tributary ran in this direction, downhill, possibly ended up in this section here. So the history of the landscape is written all over if you know how to read it.